Hello everyone, my name is Scott Gerson from nymathtutor.com, and I'm here to provide you with another parenting tip for raising great students. Today's topic is how to improve parent-teacher communication. Stay with us and I'm going to share 5 tips for improving the communication. Our first tip is that you need to find out what your teacher's preferred method of communication is. Now, most schools will have a system already set up. However, some teachers don't like to use the school system. Maybe they prefer written letters or texts or phone calls. You never know until you ask. So you need to find out what the teacher likes to do, and you need to use that system because they have about 30 parents that they need to be in touch with. So you kind of need to bend your will towards them and do what works best for the teacher in this circumstance. So what I recommend is that you go ahead and go through that system and see if the teacher responds, right? And you just ask them what their preferred method of communication is. Now, if they don't get back to you at all, then you need to go and either write a note and send it with your child, or just go in person and ask them what their preferred method is. Right now, if you're writing a note, you can say, hey, just give me a text or a phone call between such and such hours. That way, you've reached out to them in a non-aggressive manner, and you can find out how your teacher likes to communicate. That's tip number 1. Tip number 2 is, what should we communicate about? Well, one of the biggest things we should communicate with our teachers about is the behavior of our children. If they're having a behavior problem at home, that behavior is probably going to manifest itself at school as well. So you want to make your teacher aware of what's going on and how you're trying to combat this behavior. Because maybe the teacher has some kind of great method they use that totally fixes this behavior. Well, if you know about this method, you could try it out at home, and that way you're consistent, right? And your home life will probably be a lot better as well. So I recommend bringing up any kind of behavioral problem that you're having with your child, and that way you and the teacher can be a team and work on that together. Tip number 3 is what you need to know. Now, there's 2 things that should always be communicated between a parent and a teacher. And the first one is what the teacher expects. Right? So next week, say we're going to have a test on Tuesday in math, there's a big project due in social studies on Thursday, and there's a spelling test on Friday. Right? That should be communicated to the parent. Hopefully they were doing like a weekly newsletter or something like that that shows you exactly what's coming up so you know what to expect. Right? And the second half of this is they should also be providing feedback. Now that could be just in the terms of, a test score or a graded assignment, right? But you should know, okay, we have this test and then you're getting a score back, right? So that means maybe we need to study more if we're getting a bad grade. Or if you're doing a good grade, keep doing exactly what you're doing. But you need to know what to expect, and then you need to have feedback on how you're doing in order to maximize what your child does at school. So that's kind of the minimum communication you need to have between yourself and the teacher, is what to expect in the upcoming weeks, and then how they've done in the past, right? So expectations and feedback. That's the minimum that you want to set up with your teacher. Tip number 4 is a bribe. Yes, you should bribe your teachers, right? You want to have a good relationship with your teachers. You can bribe them with actual physical things that cost money, or you can bribe them with your time. Volunteer your time to help out with a field trip or some kind of big project they're doing in school. The teachers will be so appreciative, and that lets them know that you're not just selfish and caring about your own child, you care about how the classroom is run, and you care about the teacher that's teaching your child. Because you should care about that teacher. They're with your child for 8 hours a day. That's probably longer than you spend with them, right? Well, except when they're sleeping. So you want this person to really be doing well. You want them to be having great days so that that positive energy goes into your child as well. So what kind of bribes am I talking about? Don't give them a movie ticket Groupon thing, right? Ask them what they need for their classroom, go out and buy it for them. Or, as I said, volunteer your time for the next big project. The teachers will greatly appreciate it. My final tip may seem like common sense, but it's to have a positive attitude. A lot of parents end up treating the teacher as the enemy. The teacher is not the enemy. They want your child to do well, and so do you. You should be on the same team. So don't create an adversarial relationship. Don't enter a meeting with your teacher thinking they're out to get your kid. They're not out to get your kid, right? If there is a problem with a scoring on an assignment or a test, they didn't do anything on purpose to damage your child, right? There might be a mistake, or maybe your child's wrong, right? Maybe the answer is just wrong. Don't go into any kind of communication thinking that your teacher is out to get your child, because they're simply not. All right? So try to stay positive no matter how upset you may be with a situation. All right? They're trying to be fair, and they're trying to do what's best for the class. All right? And just keep that in mind when you go into any kind of conversation. Just be as positive as you can, and you're going to have a better outcome. Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope we see you back here next week where we discuss another parenting tip for raising great students, and I hope today's tips allow you to create an amazing relationship and create great communication between you and your child's teacher. We'll see you next time. Bye. Hello everyone, it's me again. I wanted to remind you that you can check out some of our other videos right over here and right up here. Also, you can subscribe to our channel, boom, right here. All right, I hope to see you next week. Bye for now.